Hi everybody, welcome to Common Use Spurs TV, where we talk about everything Spurs. Today I'm going to open with a quote from today's edition of The Guardian. It says, "Why are Tottenham a club in crisis? No manager, no sporting director, and Harry Kane unsettled." This is the story of Tottenham, or is it? Well, to look at this and to look ahead, to the match against Newcastle. I've got with me in the studios for Common Use Spurs TV. I've got Shuma. He will join us on the other side. In the meantime, come on, you Spurs. Welcome back. This is Common Use Spurs TV. With me today, I've got Shuma. If this is your first time here, you'll help our channel a great deal if you subscribe, leave a comment, like the channel, and of course share with your network so we can keep bringing you loads of good stuff. Of course, anytime you need, if you want to get notified anytime we go live, by all means, click on the bell button. Chuma, welcome. Um, it's like I said, it's Tottenham club in crisis. Is this one of these what I call let's hunker down narrative of playing the siege mentality as a club and say the world against us, or is this is this really true? You know, because there's so many stories weaving around the whole place. I mean, there's Paratici, there's the no manager. First of all, it was last. I mean, less than a week ago, it was the club haven't won anything at any level. There's no coach for the part. I mean, under 18s, under 19s, under 21s. Women are in. So everything is like all over the place. And suddenly, the under 17s win the league championship against Forest. I won 5-1. No one mentioned that in the press. I know it's something, but hey, maybe clutching at straws. But you know what I'm saying.
All
How
right.
are you?
Oh, I'm super good. To 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 reply your opening statement. Um, no director of football, no manager, club in crisis. This is just Friday under Enoch in Tottenham. If you're a Tottenham fan, it's what crisis? Crisis? What crisis? This is Enoch. This is what we're accustomed to. You have to have a very strong liver to come and be a Tottenham fan. See, people always talk about supporting Man City, Liverpool, Arsenal. No, you have to be very strong to support Tottenham. You have to be able, like, if you're over the age of 40 and you're a Spurs fan, you would have been dead at 30 if this had happened to any other club. That's how deep it is. We're that shocked. Where we plunge from one thing to the other when you just think it can't get any worse. Oh, Tottenham surprise you and take you lower and lower and lower. And the thing about it is, as a fan, you at the back of your mind you expect it. So you're not really, as soon as the case against Paratici started, you knew he was guilty. You knew he was going to go. My problem was the club should have acted sooner to, like, cut ties, like, early. But they let him work. There were even rumors that he had met with the manager of Ream, Will Still, last week, and I was thinking, no, that's fake news. They're just piling it on for clickbait now because he can't be working if he stood down pending his appeal, which he lost yesterday, and everything else. And it goes a lot. It says a lot when Juventus have had their 15-point deduction restored, and Paratici's had his ban upheld. It tells you that yes, him, the Agnelli guy, and whoever. I think the only person who escaped without any caution is Pavel Nedved. Nedved is the only one that escaped with no. They've taken away his ban and everything. He's cool, but the rest of them were their hands were all in the cookie jar. In fact, they masterminded the cookie jar. So
Well,
that's
I,
one
I,
thing.
I, 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 not comment at this stage because there's still so much going on. I mean, in terms of appeals and stuff like that. So let's just not prejudice the outcome of the whole thing because I mean, of course,
No, but he's been judged. He's been judged. I don't know what you're talking about prejudicing. He's been judged. It's over. His appeal is done. He's one and done. He had to resign.
all right, okay. So,
So he's
yeah, apparently there's going to be a retrial apparently against the club against what's the word
Juventus.
against Juve. So yes, we'll see how that turns out. Well, I mean, coming back to Tottenham, I mean, in terms of where things are, you know, from so many perspectives, we're fighting for, well, some people say it's not even worth fighting for, or even not even considering for this season to look for the top four. But on another level, I mean, I think, from my perspective, at least, from my opinion, I think it would be good for us to get top four for many reasons. You know, some people say it's probably going to mask the reality of what's really going on at the club. Others will tell you that we don't really deserve top four based on our performance this season, and all that. You know, but I mean, there's always counter argument to every position, and my view is, look, we've invested a lot in the club, the stadium, in the players as well. I mean, in the playing squad, regardless of what people may think. You know, there are areas where maybe we could do some improvements. However, it's not for lack of trying that we're where we are. But the fact of the matter is that with playing constant in Champions League, it obviously improves the club's position on the financial level, obviously from a prestige level as well. It also does that. And it also gives you the ability to attract other players, or players who may be uncertain about where they need to go. Have you had to sort of change or sort of choose, if you like, between a club playing in the league and one playing in Champions League? I mean, it's usually a no-brainer, except it's a big money issue. Most players want to play at the top of the competitions that sort of enhance their careers and showcases their skills on a more global scale. So that's always the positive for playing in the Champions League. And of course, I don't want to play on Thursday night. You know? So yeah, so that's a big incentive. However, we're fighting against I mean, quite a few clubs who are vying for that position. I mean, we at one we're in fifth. Above us, we've got Man U, who are 3 points ahead of us with a couple of games in hand. Sorry, one game in hand actually, and then same thing with Newcastle, who meets on Sunday, and this is why we're having this preview, you know. And of course, behind us we have Brighton, who have 2 games in hand, and about what, they're probably about six. They probably, if they win their 2 games in hand, they'll go up above us as well. So that's it's a lot going on in that respect. But like I always say, points on the board matter. You know, no matter how many games you have in hand, if you don't win your games that you have in hand, it doesn't mean jack really. You know. So hey, going to St James's Park, we have a good record there actually. When you think about it, we haven't. I mean, I think the last time we lost there was when we didn't win the league against Leicester. Yeah.
yeah.
And we ended up losing that last game.
The holiday game. The holiday
Exactly.
game.
Yeah, so we ended up losing that last game 5-1. Arsenal managed to overtake us into second place that year. But I mean, that was the year when we had a really good chance of topping the league. But of course, unfortunately, we lost or we drew a clean match against Chelsea at the Bridge, and the rest is history. I mean, that wouldn't have made us top the league. I mean, sort of put the record straight. It would at least drawn us closer to
prolong the race.
Yeah, and prolong the race, and obviously put a bit of pressure on Leicester as well. But that didn't happen. So we are where we are. Newcastle has always been a difficult place to go on any day anyway, but we always seem to come away with good results. Let's have a look at what we're looking at for this season. What do you reckon? Let's start with the away team. They have got a new manager. They've got plenty of money, and he seems to be doing well over the course of the season that we had so far. You know, if we look at their form guide before now, I mean, have a look at today's form guide is telling us this is where things are as far as the last 6 games between both teams, right? We have sort of won 2, drawn 2, and lost 2. So bit of consistency there. Got 2-2-2. But they won the last 5 games. I've only lost 1. And the one they lost was away to Villa, who are on a very very good run as it goes at the moment. So yeah, let's have a look at that. What do you reckon?
Well, it's pretty obvious looking at the form guide who's going to win. you know, and this is not downing Tottenham. It's you pointed out that they have a new manager in Eddie Howe. I've always found Eddie Howe to be very competent, even when he was at Bournemouth. I love the way Bournemouth played. I love the fact that they came out to play football, even though back when he was manager, I think that the height of it was at the Poch during the Poch years. We would beat them, but he never backed down. He never played defensive. He has a very attacking mindset, very proactive mindset, and he's carried this proactive mindset into Newcastle. And we're talking about the Saudi money and the PIF fund or whatever they're called taking over, but he hasn't really spent the money. He hasn't really blown 300 million in a window, but he's bought sensibly and he's played the type of football he's played, and converted like and the mark of a very good manager, as they say, is the number of players that improve under your tutelage. Look at a guy like Joe Linton. Look at Jacob Murphy. You're looking at these guys that they've played for. Even the lad that came from Arsenal, his name eludes me at the moment. Willock, yes, Joe Willock, and they've improved. They're game winners. They're playing front foot football, and yes, they go out to win every single game. You and I off air were talking about the Poch years, the Pochettino years, where we would go to matches knowing that we were coming here to win. We're not coming here to. It's the same thing. I loved and still love Tiger Woods as a golfer because Tiger Woods said, when I come to a tournament, even at his worst injury prone level, he said, I'm coming here to win. I'm not coming here to take part. Even though you knew in your heart, oh, this guy, your knees are gone, your leg, he comes in with that mindset. And Pochettino's teams came with that mindset. Eddie Howe's team this season, Newcastle, every game they've played, I've enjoyed watching because they're coming with the intent. They don't play like underdogs, they're coming to win. And the form guy bears it out. 5 games won, they lost the game. They didn't even draw, they just lost. But they went out to match and they lost. Fair dues. But look at Tottenham. Won 2, drawn 2, lost 2. The results are reflective of our coach, Christian Stellini, who for the life of me, I don't understand why he's still at the club. You know, uh, you know, that's just me. I don't think. I mean, if you look at the teams we've played, you're looking at the form guide now. We played Wolves, Nottingham Forest, Southampton, and Everton, Brighton, and Bournemouth. Soji, there's no way you tell me that at least 4 of those games are not sure bankers back in the day.
On paper, yes.
Those games are games. Yes, we would. Their squads are not better than ours in any way, shape, or form. Virtually all those teams, their squads are not better than Tottenham's squad. I'm sorry, I'm not hyping up or bigging up, but they're not. They're not. However, they're coached very, very well. Especially Brighton, who the one team I thought we would lose to, Brighton, we won, and we won fortuitously, of course, because there were so many things that happened in that game that you could have said. But however, it's it's interesting. It's interesting, but yeah, I think everyone expects Tottenham to lose this match and lose heavily. So usually it's when people are thinking that the reverse happens, I think sometimes. But in anyway, I'm not expecting a Spurs victory at all.
Yes, when you think about it in those terms, I think okay, fine. We haven't been stellar in our performances so far. There's been a big lack of consistency in terms of winning. I mean, the only sort of consistency you probably would have would be possibly the playing pattern, which has been not that
The lineup and the
yeah,
lineup.
and the lineup as well. And without making excuses for the coach or for the team, I mean, I think there hasn't been that much of a choice in terms of how we've been set up. I guess possibly the only thing you could possibly say may be that perhaps maybe we could have had a change of formation in terms of how we set up, maybe how 4 at the back and then play 4-3-3, you know. But then again, I think where the challenge might come from would be from the full back position, because we don't really have a left back at the moment, and at the moment I think our first choice left back, Davis, will probably is missing, is injured. That young man Langley got injured last week, so I mean, it leaves us with what's his name, Perisic, and I think one of the things about Perisic for me has been the fact that he's been played out of what you might call his favorite position, his favorite position, which he plays for his national team, which is a bit further forward, of the left hand side of midfield, and but here he's been played sorry, on the front left hand side or the front three, or in midfield, as opposed to being a wing back where he's been playing this season, and that hasn't quite suited his game. And the other one we have is Ryan Mason. He's been injured for a long time as well, so I doubt that we have a lot of cover on that side of the field to come in to play the fullback position. So that's a bit of a problem. But some people will say that, okay, you got all the under 21 or under 23. Why don't you bring somebody from there and sort of give them a run on the side? The only problem with that is ultimately what you find with most teams, also people at this level, is that they always expect results. So if you don't get the result, they always say to you, "Oh, why didn't you use your team? Or why are you going to bring kids?" But again, you never win. If it works, fantastic. If it doesn't work, you like I always say, you're you're a bad guy. So that's sort of it's a bit of a challenge that we have. Like you said, look, Eddie Howe has done a great job in terms of getting Newcastle to be where they are, and I think when I saw him appointed at the start of the season, I was like, are you sure that's the right move for them? And I thought maybe he was just putting there like an interim role to build the team, if you like, so that hopefully when things get solid and settled, get the Saudi owners to understand the league, look at the choices and see how things pan out. It gives them then chance to build on it gradually from a management perspective. So I guess that from their perspective was a way of them saying, okay, let's see how things go. If things go well, we might keep him there, or if things don't go really well, at least we've got the option to change or upgrade someone a tad higher of the food chain, if you like, and we all know how these things work in football. You're only as good as your last resort. All it takes is for him to have a run of 4 games on not win or lose badly, and people start to call for his head and say, "Oh, why was he appointed in the first place?" So that's football for you. But hey, that sort of brings us to say, look, we say, look, he's had a decent team. I mean, if you look at decent in terms of performances, I think the decent comes from the way that they play. If you look at the way that Newcastle play, Newcastle harry you from start to finish. So that tells you a lot about their fitness, tells you a lot about the attitude. It tells you a lot about how they're set up and the mindset that they've got to go out and just basically attack the ball. I don't know if you noticed, but anytime they're out there, they are running for 90 minutes. They are, on the front foot and always pressing up high on the pitch, and even with being pressing up high on the pitch, it still never get caught on the counter as well. So there's got a real good balance of just maintaining that press that they've got and the discipline and the shape of the team, and that tells you that Howe is doing a really great job. I can't even fault him at all, somehow though, I just I'm the eternal optimist, and I make no apologies for that. So I actually think that we have the tools to hurt them. We have the tools to hurt them at every level. I think if you look at the matches that we play against them at home, gifted them two goals for them to win that match. But for vast majority of that match, we were on top of them, and so yeah, I mean, I guess going away again, they got to come out this time around, and it opens up a lot more options for us to help them a great deal. However, I know that people will say that okay, we play 3-5, we play three at the back, and four in the middle and three in front. Maybe that may not suit us. I think one of the things I saw in the match against Bournemouth was that even though we lost that match, I still saw a lot of fighting spirit from that team. I saw that even though we lost, I mean, they came out really strong, especially in the second half. You know, even at the start of the match itself, you know, when this went up 1-0 and maybe took the foot off the gas a little bit, but again, it's always two teams playing a game. So I mean, people always sort of look only at your own side. They never look at what the other side are doing and think,
Of course.
you know. So Bournemouth, of course, I mean they're there to survive as well. So they didn't quite sit down and lay back. And if you look at what Bournemouth have done as well, they haven't done too badly. I mean, I know they in bottom half of the league, but catch your mind back to the game we played against them away to them. They went 2 goals up. I mean, you know, before we came back at the end to snatch it at the end. So I mean, so for me, there are no easy teams at this level of the Premier League. No easy teams, and no result is conclusive before you got to go out there and end the points. You got to play, you know, play well, remain focused for 90 minutes. You know, I mean, we had a couple of really good chances to close that match out against Bournemouth. Unfortunately, I mean, Richarlison headed wide, Kane headed wide at some point, you know. So it wasn't for lack of opportunities. We just didn't take them when it mattered. And when we needed the composure to at the back for, you know, someone like Howe to stand up and not just fall off, you know. But you got to grant the skill to the young man Dongo who sort of, you know, played the blind eye in that position at that point in time to keep his head calm and cool and cut back and just leave Hoiberg for dead. You know, that was classic. What I call a classic Niger move. You know, you know. I mean, that's what a classic Nigerian player would do. They would want to sort of beat their man. You know, and yeah, he did beat him quite well. You want to say something, Chuma? Sorry.
No, my thoughts are that Eddie Howe, like you said, I think it comes down to mindset, and I think it comes down to mindset in in the fact that I'm a I'm a Cruyff Bielsa guy. Those are my coaching heroes. I love them, and I love all their offspring, more or less. Pochettino, Guardiola. You know, I'm looking at all the guys that have come from those two coaches, and there's a mindset. The mindset is we are coming here to win, or we're coming here to attack, or we're coming here to defend. The problem with defending and picking your moment to hurt someone is if your moment never comes, you're just going to be inundated with wave after wave and wave of attacks. And I think that's the mindset Newcastle have. Newcastle come into a game going, we're not here to defend, we're here to attack. Because attack, as you've heard before, is the best form of defense. And defending for just defending's sake, and I think that's the problem with Tottenham, is we have wonderful attacking players. I wasn't surprised Danjuma scored. In fact, you know what? When Danjuma scored, I wanted to text you to say, I said it. This guy comes on, he will score. You know, we knew Danjuma would score. We knew Danjuma could play. However, the coaching, I still go back to this. It's coaching. Everyone can tell me it's useless players. Our brother and friend Zeus can call them whatever names he wants to call the players in terms of how useless they are. And it's true. Spurs have average players. But I've always said this: average pawns can deliver a checkmate on the chessboard. Newcastle have average players, yet look at what they're doing. It's because their manager attacks. He has an attacking vision, and he goes for it. Tottenham wait till there's nothing left to lose, and then they go for it. And that's why I insist: if Tottenham tonight get rid of Christian Stellini, and the rest of the Italian coaching staff and just employ the English coaches at that club, Tottenham will win this weekend. Tonight, Friday, this is Friday night, they sack Stellini and bring in Chris Powell, Yaya Toure, Jermaine Defoe, the gentleman who led the under 18. They bring all of them to the first team coaching right now. You said something about it's not really a formation change. It's not a formation change, it's a mindset change. Because I go on about four at the back. But if you're watching what's going on, this is me as just a fan watching football and understanding
Let,
tactics.
let,
Wait,
let, let
I
me
just
just
want to say,
hold you on there. This is a good time for us to sort
no,
of look at the predicted lineups for what we want to predict for the match on Sunday. And I mean, keep talking, and then we'll look at them in a few minutes. You can carry
yeah,
on, yeah.
I'm just saying that it's not a formation change, it's a mindset change. They have to go from being Tottenham the defensive to Tottenham the attacking. And Tottenham the attacking doesn't matter if you have three defenders, it's just the way you utilize your team. And this guy doesn't know how to utilize his team. It's not about the way you, there are three defenders. Guardiola at this moment lines up as a back four, Man City. But if you watch them play, they turn to a back three. He's playing 3-2-2-3 because he's found out a system that works and he's copying Brighton's coach, De Zerbi. De Zerbi has worked out this system where he can lull you to come forward. His defenders, his fullbacks tuck in, and it just changes the game. He outnumbers you everywhere. He has an outlet. Guardiola has worked out how to do that better than him,
Which is
or he
why
has better
he
players.
said that Mr. Walker can't play the system that he's playing, right?
Exactly.
You know, and
So now he's put a Kanji instead of Walker, and
yes,
nobody's looking at that. He's got Ake instead of playing. He bought a Spanish boy to
Laporte.
as left back. Yeah, but when he saw Zinchenko, but that Spanish boy has not seen. Instead, he's playing Ake. Nobody's asking these questions. Why? It's because these people are tactical geniuses. They've worked out what they need to do to get that ball through, to get to the spaces. And once you get to the space, it's no coincidence. Since he switched his formation, like let's say 7 games ago, Jack Grealish is now looking like a superstar. Have you noticed that?
Yes.
And it's because of these things. And you're looking at Son. If they can tweak this thing properly, Son will score goals by handful. Son has blamed himself in recent weeks saying, "Oh, I'm off form." He's not off form. He's positioned poorly or wrongly or both. And if you get Son in position, Son will kill. If you get Kane in position, you're talking about the Bournemouth game. If we go back to that Bournemouth game, things changed when he dropped Kane into midfield, brought on Danjuma and Richarlison. So now we had three in midfield because now Kane was helping Højbjerg and Skip, and he now switched to 3-5-2. Some other coaches could have done that earlier. Some other coaches could have seen this and addressed all those things. But this guy is not doing the business. And I look at this lineup now, and we're going to go. The
Well,
unfortunate thing, of course, was
let's say
Sanchez.
that. So for goalkeeper, who would you? I mean, who are we having? I mean, let's
I
just.
would, I would, I would rather have Foster, but we know they will never drop Lloris. I think Foster had a better run,
So you
but
think
it's
we should
going
have
to be.
Foster, right? That's
I think I would rather have Foster, but we know Lloris is going to play. So
so.
let
Predicted lineup is
Lloris,
Lloris in that case, right? Okay, right.
Lloris.
So I agree with you. I think it's gonna be Lloris, right? So the defense now, the defense we have what back we play a back three normally, right? You think we'll maintain a
Yes,
back three,
yes,
right? So presumably the same back three we had last week. Now the big problem this week is for me. Last week they had to bring off Sanchez because of the way he was treated by the fans, right? Now, the only reason he came on was because Longley was injured, and they had to come in to sort of do a patch job in that role. Now, if Longley still remains injured and want to play a back three, how's that going to work? Or will you have to revert to a back four playing Dyer and Romero, and possibly have Perisic as a fullback, and then have on the other side Porro as a fullback? You think that's going to happen?
no. Stellini is not tactically capable.
Right. So that's telling.
he's tactically inept. Let's be real. Let's be real. And it's not. I'm not trying to insult him. I'm just being realistic. The man is
Right. Okay.
tactically.
So
Yeah. So it's Lloris. I think he's still going to be Dyer Romero. We don't know. I haven't seen any updates on Longley. I don't know
yes,
if he's.
and
I haven't
Davis
seen
is
any
still
update.
injured. So Davis is out of the question, right?
So it's either he's going to go with Tanganga because the reception Sanchez got, the fans made it known loud and clear. Nobody wants to see Sanchez play
We
for
didn't even
Tottenham.
put Tanganga in this equation. That's interesting.
So yeah, but you could leave Sanchez there. So it's a case of it could be Sanchez to prove a point, or it could be Tanganga. So you
Well,
can leave Sanchez there.
I reckon this is me. Again, I'm surmising here. I don't know for sure. I think he'll probably play Sanchez, and he'll get a standing ovation when he comes on away with the away fans. Given how he was treated last weekend, I'm not sure that went down well with a lot of the fans as well. I mean, I know there's a large section that were booing, but I think the reaction afterwards from Twitter, from press, from everybody, that you more or less said, look, I mean, ultimately, it didn't deserve that sort of treatment. I don't think it did. I mean, I don't agree
It
either.
was I think the press were hypocritical because they're the ones who have been more or less gaslighting him for years. They've been writing about him as well. So now all of a sudden they're like, oh well, he shouldn't have been treated that way. It's a lie.
Well,
They're liars.
but hold on a second.
And
But hold on a second. There's a big difference between calling out the player who wasn't really playing well in the press and the lineup and to boo him when it comes on for your team. Come on, that's low. That is low. I mean, if
I
you think about it,
I'd rather you were honest with me than lie.
well, I'm not sure they're
Booing,
lying about his performance.
booing him wasn't. I Two things here. I don't think they booed him. I think they booed the decision of him. If that makes any sense. You're not booing the
Hmm.
guy. You're booing this coach. The guy has no clue. Why would you bring? Because everybody knows exactly what's going to happen. You're different if you had started him. So if you had started Sanchez, that's a completely different thing. But to bring him on when that to them is like you lack options and you lack the brain capacity to change anything for us, and there's so many things, I don't think people booed him because everyone knows what Sanchez is now. We feel he had 1.5 good years for Spurs. His first season and half of the second season he was
And
good.
this is his fifth year, presumably. More, it's been here for
Yeah,
about 5 years.
yeah. So he's had 1.5 good years, and it was because everything was simple. If we change formation and we had a progressive manager and we play the back four, I don't think Sanchez will have problems because all he'll be doing is giving it to his fullback, giving it to centre back, playing a back three is very challenging for him because he plays one of the two spots where he has to underlap. So that means he has more time on the ball, and he's not good on the ball. So Campbell was not good on the ball. So Campbell's job was to stop and give. This Sanchez guy, stop it and give it. Brilliant for him. It will work perfectly. So I can understand the frustration. Perisic cannot defend. So also, if you play Sanchez on that side, so if you play Sanchez on the Longley wing, he's not going to get any help from his wing back because Perisic cannot defend. Perisic cannot be physical.
So that will be an outlet for attack from Newcastle, presumably. So
And
I'm
and,
sure
and Newcastle and
if
who
you
do
work that
Newcastle have
out,
out there?
that shouldn't be
Who do
difficult
they
for them
have
to
out
work
there?
out.
Who do Newcastle have out there? Almiron.
Right.
What happened in our last game against
Exactly.
Newcastle? Who killed us?
Exactly.
Almiron.
Yep. Yeah.
So it's just a self-fulfilling prophecy of what you know. I
So
have no faith.
we should prepare ourselves for a third game. In other words, yes.
The best I can hope for Tottenham is a draw. The best I can hope for Tottenham is a draw. I,
Unless of course we go on and
I
attack them and score the goals, basically, right?
Yeah, but on normal basis, depending on what the coaching was like, or if we had like very, very, I would go for a win because we have the better attackers. We have guys that can score in this team. But unfortunately, I just don't see how they're going to get the ball.
So Emerson is still
Even when
injured.
they get
So we got Poro on the left hand side of the wing back, right? And then we've got Perisic
on the,
because Sessignon is still injured. So take off Sessignon from
yeah,
there, and then leaves us with this sort of formation, presumably, right?
yeah, yep,
Now against
yep.
Skippy and Hoiberg, probably, I mean, up to occupy those roles. The problem, well, I won't say the problem. The challenge will be to make who would partner Kane. Kane is like a given in that front front three? Would it be Kulusevski and Richardson, or Richardson rather, or would it be Danjuma or Son? Who would we go for?
So based on how he ended the last match,
Mm-hmm.
if he, Christian Stellini, wants to impress me, Chuma, right now, this very minute, he would start this game how he ended the last one, which is Kane in front of Skip and Hoiberg, and it was Danjuma and Richarlison. I'll go Danjuma and Son.
Right. So
Kulusevski on the bench.
if
But
Christian Stellini is
that's how he
watching
ended the
this,
match.
he should listen to what Chuma is saying here, right? So have Kane in front of Keep and Hoiberg and Danjuma and Son, right?
Danjuma and Son.
And leave Richardson on the bench, right? And
And,
Kulusevski on the bench,
Richarlison on,
impact
yeah,
players. Right.
Richarlison on the bench, and him and Kulusevski come on. Change. You want to change the system when you're winning, and they're trying to attack more, and you want to exploit, bring on pace, Richarlison and thing. But I would do this. It will completely confuse Newcastle as well, because Newcastle expect him to come 3-4-2-1 like he's played every game since he took over. So I would do this. I think this would be very, very, very interesting.
Interesting. If you're watching this, would love to have your comments on what you think of this formation and the lineup for, well, it's our predicted lineup. This is Come On You Spurs TV. If you're new here, subscribe to our channel, leave a comment, and like our page. If you need to get notified whenever we release videos or go live, by all means, please do so by clicking on the bell button. And just as a bit of a heads up as well, on Sunday after the match, we're going to have a live stream, which we named the aftermath, right? We look at the key talking point in the match. We analyze what went on, the key moments, and of course, plenty of banter as well. You're free to join in the banter and the live stream with your comments, and we can also bring you on as a guest if you want. Just let us know ahead of time or on the day. Just let us know, and then we'll have you join us in the discussion. Yeah, so to let you have your say. Yeah, so thank you so much, guys. Chuma, final words. Score prediction. Like we always say, score prediction.
2-2 Harry Kane to score.
Okay, I would go Tottenham 2-0. Danjuma and Son.
Well, Danjuma scoring. I'm happy. I'm happy. Danjuma scoring.
Yeah, so yeah, that's my prediction. Yes, it's been nice having you. Thank you again,
Thank you
and God
so
bless
much.
you. And yeah, look forward to seeing you on Sunday. Take good
See
care.
you. Come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you
2-0.
Spurs. God, that's so funny. You don't think we're gonna win, eh?
2-0.
Anyway,
I, I,
guys,
I, I just see us drawing to the end of the year, to the end of the season. Good
beautiful.
riddance to Stellini.
Come on, you Spurs, guys.
Come on, you Spurs.